All right. Well, turn of events had to happen, and I had to move shops. Took me a long ass time to get everything moved, but I'm just now officially settled in, and I'd say definitely worth it. I have a lot more space to work. I don't have to pay rent here, which is nice because I'm using my parents' place. Thankfully, they have been letting me do this. But I got everything set up for now. I still got to unload these. There's a bunch of parts for this car inside of that. But now I have extra workbench here. Got my tool chest, my other workbench, and then this is going to be my fabrication table. My dad hooked me up with this table. He got it for free, so he just gave it to me. I got my welder down there that I've had for like 2 years now, and I just haven't set it up yet. And here very soon, I'm gonna get the gas and the wire to get that thing set up. And I've only welded a few times, so I'm definitely not good, so I'm gonna have to do quite a bit of practice. But I have a few projects that I need to get done on this beforehand. Like I said previously, this window bracket I pulled off of the parts car, and it also has cracked in the same spot that mine has cracked. So I asked on a Facebook group, and a lot of other people said that this is pretty common. So I guess it's just made of cheap material or something, I don't know. But the one I pulled off of the parts car is in better condition. It has the full ring instead of half of it blown out the bottom, and it hasn't been welded before, so I should be able to reinforce it, and then I'll get that out and then replace that, but that's not happening today. Yeah, I'm excited to be moved in here, excited for this car to finally get started. I've been doing a lot of thinking on this engine because the rods, I'm probably gonna have to get new rods, and if I'm gonna get new rods, you know, it's gonna make me want to get new pistons too, just in case, because they did have a lot of miles, and there were some spots on them that I wasn't fully sure of to be reusable, so it would be just best case scenario for me to get new rods and pistons, and I have to get a new crank. So if I have to get all of those, this is gonna get really expensive. So I might just buy, there's a few built LT1s in the area that I wanna buy, and I think that's gonna be the plan. I'm gonna go and buy that Mercedes from the neighbor of the shop, the old shop, here in the next few days. And there'll be a few videos on that. I'll have it pulled in right here, right up against the Firebird. I'm gonna fix that up, get it running, get it sold, and then the price that I'm able to sell that should be able to get me my engine and a few other miscellaneous parts that I need. But besides the engine, all I need is a new clutch, some new sensors on the transmission, a new power steering rack, because mine is toast. It had super bad play in the steering wheel. I thought it was the rag joint at first, but this rag joint is, I guess it has a little bit of play, but that might actually, I've never looked this close into it. That might actually be it. Huh. Maybe I might not need one, but hopefully not. I'm gonna fix that and see if it works. So I'll do that off camera at some point. But besides the clutch, I want to get my head sent off to Lloyd Elliott to get them built, to get his LE2 package, get a bigger cam in it. And then the ECUs in the 95 are apparently the best one out of all the LT1 cars. I have mine sitting right here. Because these ones don't have to be flash tuned. You can just program it on the spot, which is, I don't know if that's 100% true, but that's what I've seen on the forums, so. Yeah, I hope that's true, because that'll save me a lot of money and not having to buy an aftermarket ECU system, because I'm not gonna get it flashed, because this thing is probably gonna get tuned a few times throughout its life on stock ECU, and it would just be a big pain in the ass to do that. So yeah, this is the new workshop. I'm very excited for what's to come and for this car to fucking get done. All right, so this is the window rail that I pulled off of the parts car. And as you can see, I already hammered it out, but definitely cracked. Not as bad as my other one, which is like missing this entire bottom piece. So I'm gonna attempt to weld it up and then grind it down. I am definitely not the best welder in the world, not even remotely close, but we'll see what I can do. All right, well, she's not pretty, but I think she'll get the job done. She'll definitely get the job done, but before I put this back in, I'm gonna wanna make a supporting bracket on the side that has the wheel coming out of it. So this side, just like a little square bracket, just for extra support. And yeah, I think that'll be it for this little bracket, and then I'll get that thrown in here in the next few days. All right, it's been a few days and I've been busy with life and shit happens, but I'm back at it working on the Firebird. And so this was the support, I guess, what would you call it? The guide rail roller or something like that on the inside of the driver's window. And it was riveted here, but I cut that off, took a bolt, welded it to the end, and then cut the head of the bolt off. It's not the prettiest, and there's definitely some imperfections in the weld, but I don't really care because this is not gonna have any force on it since it's just gonna help align the window. So I'm not too worried about that, but this should be good enough. But it works. Probably about 2 weeks ago, I sort of did a fix to this, and the plan is to put this in here. And then I have that support shim I'm gonna put on the back side. And then that washer nut goes on there, tighten them down. I might drill out this hole a little bit more because where it's supposed to be flush is about right here, but since it's kind of like a cone shape because I couldn't really get it ground down flat after I welded it, I'm gonna have to compensate and make the hole bigger so it can sit lower down on the cone to about where it was factory, because if I don't, the alignment of the window will probably be off, but it's not by, it's almost there. Just to be safe, I'm gonna drill that out, then I'll get that put in. All right, I drilled it out a little more and it's sitting basically flush it now. It's ground down a little more than where it was from factory, so that's about where it's supposed to sit. So I'm gonna call that good. It's pretty, I don't know if you can see, but it's decently flush for the janky job that I did, but this is just to get the window rolling up and down and aligned. So yeah, that should work. Now the next thing I had to do is, from factory, they had these plastic shims. I already did this side that go in between the glass and right there on both sides, and all of mine broke. So these are gonna work, but it's kind of janky, but I just took some plastic I had laying around and cut them pretty much circle, put a divot in it. I'm gonna drill those out. And then I gotta put one here and another one here. So I got 4. I'm just gonna reuse this one because this one is still usable because I'm gonna use a pretty big washer anyways, so I'm gonna get those thrown in and this put back together. All right, they are all in. I don't think this will be a problem with it sticking out that much, but if it is, it won't be. So I'm not even gonna think about that. So yeah, they're not like super tight in, just hand tight, but yeah, this is ready to be thrown back in. So now my next project, which probably won't be this video, I'm probably gonna tear this window, motor regulator, the glass out. I'm gonna swap that glass with that glass because this one has, I just don't want to go through the process of taking this old ass tint off. It's purple now and it looks like garbage. It's on that window too, which I'm gonna take off in the rear glass. So that's gonna be fun. I'm not looking forward to doing that when the time comes, but it'll just make it easier. That glass is basically in the same condition as that, so it doesn't really matter. It just saves me time for not having to take the tint off. But yeah, next video is gonna be, I have to order a new window regulator and motor. Technically not the regulator, but it's only a little more expensive if I buy the regulator with it. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna make, you can see I've replaced this one before and it went out because of that, right? It's kind of hard to see, but that down there breaking, and it burned it out because it was having to use more power. And the mounting point is on fiberglass. And a common thing people do is to make like an aluminum bracket that just sits with those 4 holes. So, you know, it has metal to clamp onto. So I'm gonna throw some riv nuts in those once I do that to make it easier. And throw it back together. I'll probably put the battery up to it to make sure it works. And then I'll get it aligned and everything. So yeah, that's gonna be it of this.